And so when I look at an exit for an entrepreneur, I think 4 million EBITDA is my first real exit point where I can get a good firm that I can work with. And if I'm building kind of my kind of companies, which is guys, trucks, broken stuff, guys, trucks, building things, not to sound sexist, but that's kind of my wheelhouse. So it's like, HVAC and commercial laundry and, real sexy industries like that.
Yeah.
Dudes in trucks out fixing stuff is my world. And so, as I'm building a company and I'm climbing the pyramid, it's when I get to that first 4 million, I can count on about an 8 multiple-ish. You get somewhere between 30 and 40 million for that company. If I sell it for the first time there and I bring in private equity and I take some chips off the table, diversify my asset base, make a rollover investment alongside their coattails, and then I start working with their capital to build to the next exit point, which would be about 10, 12 million of EBITDA. And then a bigger firm comes in, buys from a smaller firm. They take it up to the next level of the pyramid and they take it up to, used to be 50. Now it's about 40. And then they sell it upstream to somebody else. And every time we're doing this, we're rewarded. So I tell people, if you're an entrepreneur, how much money do you want to make? Do you want to be a 9-figure guy? Then you want to get to 10 million of EBITDA before you sell the first time, because that company, dudes, trucks, doing things, that I'm selling for about 8 times when it's got 4 million of EBITDA, I'm probably selling it for 10 to 12 times at 10 million of EBITDA. And so I'm probably looking at about $120 million exit. And if I can learn how to shift entrepreneurial gears, because when I get to 30 to 40 million of revenue, I'm probably at that 4 million of EBITDA mark where I can exit. And I get a good payday, don't get me wrong. But if I can learn how to shift gears and hire people and become a conductor of the orchestra and focus on process, not every transaction that's happening, and I can kick that gear up and I can get it up to 10. Now I'm looking at a 9-figure exit. And so, but I tell in my book, I don't want entrepreneurs to go any larger than that. There's no reason. I want you to ring the bell. I want you to get asset diversification. I want you to take chips off the table. And I wrote an article for Forbes a while back. I called it the Law of 130. I get asked so many times, when's the right time to sell? And how do I know when it's the right time to sell? And I tell people, take your age as a number, 2-digit number, and then take the percent of your net worth that's tied up in this illiquid thing called your company. And if you add that to your age and it's over 130, chances are you need to do something to de-risk your family. You've got too much risk on the table. If you're, and what it has to do with is, the economy runs in cycles. If you're in your 50s or 60s and 90% of your net worth is tied up in your company, you're at like 140, you're over 130. If a bad cycle comes, when planes fly into buildings, when the Great Recession happens, when a pandemic happens, you can get ruined and not have enough time left in your working career to recover. So I want entrepreneurs to take chips off the table. And when you get to that call it no larger than 10 million of EBITDA, I want you to sell to private equity. And too many entrepreneurs look at private equity and they say, when I sell my company, it's a one and done thing. And it's like, if I'm not controlling and I'm not the majority shareholder, I don't want to have anything to do with my company. No. And that's the wrong answer. PE is the world's most sophisticated asset class out there. Ride their coattails, get multiple paydays. My personal record is getting 5 paydays at one company over 13 years and 4 months. It's kind of like you're in Vegas. And you've been on the blackjack table for a while and you made some money. So you put your original money back in your pocket. That's the diversification. And now you're playing with house money. The analogy here is, as I get to these exit points, I'm taking wealth out and I'm diversifying to protect my family and my future. And now I'm playing with house money. Now I'm going to use a private equity checkbook to start doing and accelerating the kind of things that I was doing, the M&A that I was doing at a small scale because money was hard to get when I was a little company. Now I got the biggest checkbook in the world, And really what that means is they've got debt relationships that I can leverage, and I can get outsized amounts of capital that let me accelerate my growth story.